So in today's video, we're going to see, is the Magiccon secret layer worth it? Now, when it comes to the secret layer, there is kind of two versions of it. Not when it comes to the product itself, it's how they're selling it. So if you live in America and are able to go to Magiccon, you can able to buy the secret layer on its own for $39.99, and it comes with 4 cards. And I'll be going over through the secret layer and asking, is it worth it? And from me looking up and seeing it, I think you can only get it in foil, which is, I personally think, is quite good. The second version is for everyone outside of the Magiccon type of thing that they've done in the last few events or the last few cons, which is you are able to get the kind of con experience. I don't really like these. The first one was good, the second was good, but I don't think it's been worth the price. Where you get the secret layer, 3 boxes. You get the mystery booster, you get the Brothers War, and you get the Phyrexia will be one. I think, I could be wrong, it's the set. It's on the screen now, and I'm not looking up while I'm recording. You also get an arcade signet and then this secret layer with it. And I haven't been able to find an exact price for it, but I think, and I could be wrong here, they're going to be roughly the same price as the other two, so you're looking at probably like 300 quid. But when it comes to this video, I'm only going to be going over the 4 cards in the secret layer itself. It's one of those things where if you watch and listen to this video and you like the secret layer, and I kind of not convince you, but maybe help you out of be like, this is a good product, and you are able to buy it, it's one of those things where then it's up to you to decide, are the 3 boxes worth it? Personally, I don't think so. I think Mystery Booster, it's kind of an oversold product. Nearly everyone I know only wants maybe a handful of cards, like maybe 10, and with how many cards are in it, not really worth it. But if you missed if you missed Brothers War, or if you missed Phyrexia will be one, or there's still a load of cards there, or a load of cards you and your friends want, I then recommend it. But the purpose of this video is to see, and only to see, is the secret layer part, the 4 cards, worth it? When it comes to trying to figure out the worth, I don't look at the card's price. I just see, is the card playable, is the card good, and is the art it's worth good? Mainly it's one of those things that when it comes to secret layers, there's somewhere between 30 and 50 quid, depending on if it's foil, edge foil. Sometimes they're a bit more pricier, and personally it's more, is the price worth it? Even if it's a 10-cent card, is it pretty enough? Is it usable? Am I going to enjoy playing it? Am I going to be happy that when I draw this, even though it's a 10-cent card in its normal art, am I going to be happy that I have it in this version or this art form? And that's how I usually rank these. I see a lot of people that do these ranking videos talk about just the price, and I'm just like, you're saying no, it's not worth it. You don't want to pay 30 quid for a Fable Passage. However, I want to pay 30 quid for a Fable Passage because Fable Passage is a good card, and that artwork is absolutely amazing. So yeah, I did it. So it's all about the purpose of the cards. When it comes to the secret layer, you get 4 cards. I'll be going over them individually, giving my thoughts and opinions on the artwork and how the card is itself, and then an overall, is it worth the $39.99 when it comes to the secret layer itself? So when it comes to this product, you get a Phage the Untouchable, you get Centriplets, you get Yisan the Wandering Bard, and you get Aleli Artful Propagator. Hopefully I'm saying that right, it's probably completely wrong. So I'm going to be starting with Phage the Untouchable. For 3 and 4 black, you get a legendary creature, avatar minion, that is a mythic. When Phage the Untouchable enters the battlefield, if you didn't cast it from your hand, you lose the game. Whenever Phage deals combat damage to a creature, destroy that creature. It cannot be regenerated. When Phage deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game, and she's a 4/4. So when it comes to this card, getting a 4/4 for 7 mana is never really worth it. However, when it comes to Phage herself, I personally think she is, because her ability is really good and really broken, and it comes in 3 sections. And the reason I think it is a fair and good card is mainly due to the first section, the fact that you're able to, if you cheat her out, still lose the game. The only problem with that is I don't personally know myself, but I say there's somewhere out there or someone's figured out a way to be able to still cheese her out and they still not lose the game. or maybe losing the game makes them win the game. Magic the Gathering has loads of these type of things, so there's no specific way, and I'm not like a pro player, so I don't personally know. Her second ability is really good, and I do think that the mana cost of the second and third ability is really good, especially with cards like Vocal Sword that do the same, but they cost a bit more mana. One of the reasons I like that it's 7 mana is because Rogue's Passage is one of my favorite lands of all time, and the fact that she costs 7 mana probably means if you have Rogue's Passage on the field, you have the 5 mana, the 4, and then tapping it to be able to Rogue's Passage and knock someone out completely, which is, again, really good. When it comes to the Secret Lair version of the card, I really like this. It's kind of like a poster. You can see like the crease in the middle of it being folded in half, and it's kind of like a punk 80s or 90s poster, which is what I like, and all of these seem to be kind of in that theme. I really do like how it's like a purple and has her very clear on it. The writing is a bit messy, but the fact that all 3 abilities are in a separate box makes it easier to read. As someone with like really bad dyslexia, I really do think that the layout of the card and how the card is read is very important, and majority of these messy kind of secret layers is the reasons I don't buy them is because I find them difficult to read, where this one is slightly difficult to read, but I think with the artwork and not how difficult it is, I think I would personally be able to, if I ever played her, I don't have her in a deck, but if I wanted one, would get this version, mainly because I think it's beautiful and it's slightly more difficult to read, but it's still legible for me. I don't have to spend ages looking and trying to figure it out. So I think this card is great. The next one I'm going to be talking about is Send Triplets. For 2 white, blue, and a black, you get a legendary artifact creature, human wizard that is a mythic. At the beginning of your upkeep, choose target opponent. This turn that player can't cast spells or activate abilities and play with their hand revealed. You may play lands and cast spells from that player's hand this turn, and they're a 3/3. This card is an absolute crazy commander. I really do love it. I've never played this as a commander, but I've seen other people have played it as a commander. It is very known in the Magic the Gathering community to be a very strong and powerful commander. Very annoying and very broken too. So if you do play it as a commander, you are pretty much being like, target me, which I find silly, but again, that's a different conversation. And even the colors of the card are really good because the cards usually help with stealing, exile, or bringing stuff back from other people's graveyards. So this card is pretty much I'm playing everyone else's deck. When it comes to the artwork, I really don't like it. This art, again, the art itself is good, but on the card, it is way too messy. It took me a few seconds to realize that all 3 of them on it, I just thought it was one big lady, and I'm not the biggest fan of this card. The only time I say this card is actually worth it when it comes to the Secret Lair is if you have it in your deck or you have it as your commander and you want to use this art because you like the art. The only reason I'm mainly saying that is because, again, I find it too messy as a card. The art is good, but on a card it's way too messy. But it's one of those things where if I got it, it will just personally be sitting in a folder and rather gathering dust or losing value. Maybe there's a chance it'll higher in value, but I'm fine with how many secret layers they're making and stuff. Majority of them lower. So if you are to get this one, I say mainly recommend it to kind of make your deck more glamour, or if you don't like the normal art and prefer this one, to upgrade it if you want an alt-art commander. The next one is Yasin the Wanderer Bard. For 2 and a green, you get a legendary creature, human rogue that is a rare. Tap 2 and green in it. Put a verse counter on Yasin the Wanderer Bard. Search your library for a creature card with conversion mana equal to the number of verse counters on Yasin. Put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library, and he's a 2/3. I never seen this card before, so I started in Dominaria, but I have loads of cards from different sets that I've played because loads of people played them. I see them on like game nights and Commander and like I Hate Your Deck and all the people I watch play, but it's one of those things I've never seen this card. So then reading the card for the first time was the Secret Lair, and I thought it was a really good card the first time I read it. I thought it was kind of like an Aether Vial or As Foretold, but in green. However, when I actually looked up and done the research for this video, I looked up the normal art of it too, and I completely missed that it's 2 and a green. and tap it to put a counter on it, and I really didn't like that. Now, in fairness, there is cards that like you get to be able to get like your mana rock, like your Lirana War Elves and stuff like that, and then be able to grow every time. However, when it came to the other 3 cards in this set, I've seen them played as commanders, I've seen them used in decks, I've seen a lot of people kind of fear these cards or think they're broken, and then there's this card, which I've never seen before. I've seen people cheat out stuff in green all the time. I have a deck that has 3 cards that just pretty much say, look at the top X amount of cards in your library and just pick a big creature and play them. This doesn't seem a good card. Personally, when it comes to this Secret Lair, I find that this is to be the weakest card in all senses of it. I find the card to be weak. I find the alt art to be weak. It just is a giant blur to me. It is way too messy. There's multiple faces where in the original card it's him and a creature, which kind of makes sense. But in this, it's him with multiple creatures, which again, the card can do, but I just find it to be a complete mess. And the fact that this is the first time I'm seeing this, surrounded by cards that I see all the time and people fear and stuff, I just thought this is the weakest card. Now, it's one of those things where it could be a broken card like the other 3. There could be ways to like up the counters or cheat it out, and it could be a very powerful and strong commander. I'm just basing it on what I've seen, and I've never seen this card before or played. So it's one of those things that if you have a deck with it and you want it in the old art, don't let my opinion stop you. It's just mainly, again, card I've never seen before. Looks, from my knowledge of the game, doesn't look the best. I would rather put in Aether Vial or any of the sorceries that do the same. And then finally, out of the 4, we have a Lair Artful Provocateur. For 1 white, blue, and a black, you get a legendary creature, Fairy Warlock, that is a mythic. It has flying, death touch, and lifelink. Other creatures you control with flying get +1/+0. Whenever you cast an artifact or enchantment spell, create a 1/1 blue fairy creature token with flying, and she's a 2/3. I love this commander. A friend of mine has a deck of this and it is really good. Not broken, but really good and quite powerful. I absolutely love this as a commander. I tried building it before, but I tried building it with ninjas and it didn't work out at all. But I do think this is a really good commander. And when it comes to the alt art of this card, I really do like it. I like everything about this. I think personally this is the strongest card when it comes to this Secret Lair, because it is a really good commander. It's really kind of busted if you want it to be, and I do think it is an absolutely beautiful card. There's only 2 things I kind of have to say with it. Is 1, it is very difficult to not just make a fairy army deck. There's not really much, and I am a person that kind of likes making decks. I do have decks that do just the one thing, but I like kind of making a deck that's not broken but very bizarre. And it just seems to me, when it comes to this commander, there is only one way and one way to play it, and that's kind of boring. And then personally, I just don't like the yellow hazardous color in the background of the Secret Lair art. But other than the text itself, it is a very legible card. I do find them using different fonts to be kind of a bit difficult for it to read, but she's like perfectly laid out. The text format is good. I think they should have just stuck with one format, even if it was messy. The fact that it's multiple different formats is quite messy, but this is probably the best card out the Secret Lair. So is $40 worth it for this Secret Lair as a whole? I personally have to say no. What I think of the Secret Lair is that it is 3 cards and another. If this Secret Lair was 30 quid and you got the green guy for free, that is fair. However, it just seems to be a bit meh, and 40 for it that you could only get a convention does not seem worth it. I would personally probably pay 25 to 35, and even 35 is a bit iffy. And I know if taking a $5 off isn't much, but it's one of those things where if I went to a convention and seen it, that $5 would have put me off, mainly because I'm like, I'm not going to use many of them. One of those things though, when it comes to Secret Lair, is if you have 3 of them or 4 of them, or even I would say 2 of them as your commander or in your deck, or if you have a friend that, like, let's say you have a Centriplets deck and they have a Phage deck, and you're like, I will buy this I will give you, or you can buy it from me. I think it's a good secret layer then, but if you're just buying it on your own, you have none of the 4 cards, you're only buying it for the artwork or the fact that it's just a secret layer you can get at a convention, I don't think it's worth it. So overall, I kind of give this secret layer a 6.2. It's got majority good cards and playable cards, especially in Commander, which is what most people care about. The art is good in all of them, but some are too messy. And the fact that 3 of the cards are really good and broken and 1 just seems meh. So I give it overall a 6.2, but again, that's more on a circumstantial thing, because I could give it probably, I would say, a 4.8 if you play none of them, you like none of them, and you don't like the art. I would give it that, but the best version is if you play at least 2 or 3 of the cards, or 4, and you love the art, I would still give it a 6.2 when it comes to making secret layers. So let me know what you think of the secret layer in the comments down below. Let me know what cards you like, what cards you would prefer in this type of artwork, or if you could put 4 cards in a secret layer yourself. Let me know which 4 cards you would pick in the comments down below. Remember to like, follow me on all my social media and all that YouTubey stuff, and I will see you all in the next video. And if you like this video, I have a video where I unbox this secret layer with this beautiful thing, and I have a affiliate link where if you use WeCJ, you're allowed to get 10% off. I also have Magic the Gathering Mall videos here, and remember to subscribe here.